Next up, we'll hear about innovative alternatives to traditional blower room design and construction. The integration of complete blower rooms in custom weatherproof enclosures rather than new construction or renovated buildings may convey significant cost and time savings for the engineering firms, OEMs, systems integrators, mechanical contractors, and the operators who have to live with the equipment. This approach allows for outdoor placement with increased protection and reliability. And here to tell us more is Stephen Horne, product manager with Kaeser Corporation. Stephen, take us away.
Okay, thank you, Travis. I appreciate the introduction. And as indicated, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about our options that we have out there for housing and operating our blower equipment. And here we have in front of us an example of what I would say, I don't know if it's a usual way, a traditional way, but certainly these are the types of installations that we encounter, and perhaps you have as well, of a blower installation. Obviously, with any installation, I mean, you need to have something to run the blowers, and here this is a MCC, a motor control center, which is in the foreground of us, which is this light blue, if not grayish building. So inside here we have all the power distribution, you have your variable frequency drives, whatever control they might have for the station inside of this building. And behind it we have what I would say the evolution of their installation. So initially this site, they had a concrete slab poured, the blowers were installed, the plant was put into operation. The community had grown up around the plant, and as businesses and housing developments got closer to the plant, they start filing grievances about noise. So they built this room around the blowers, and of course they had to have the additional piping here for the filtration. And so it's not I wouldn't say this is a poor installation, but kind of an example of how these systems can evolve over time. And sometimes this happens because of, as I mentioned here, the community grew around it. Sometimes it's because of other, maybe having reliability problems, or the idea of having the blowers in a room was an afterthought, and this kind of had developed over time to become a necessity. So what I'd like to spend some time here during this session is to speak to you about, is there a better way? I think that what I'm trying to convey here is that we believe that there is. So here, what we're talking about are what we refer to as engineered enclosure systems. So this isn't a shipping container which is brought in and holes cut into it and doors and things like that. This is something which are kind of designed and developed from the ground up. Of course, they are weatherproof, and what we here say is that they're engineered to your to the project specific requirements. So, you know, where is it located? Is it in a place where it's cold? Is it a place where it's warm? Does it have a lot of rain? Does it have a lot of snow? What are the different site requirements or project requirements that are needed to make this room work for this individual scenario? Once that is established, a design will be created and developed, as seen here, and shared back and forth with different parties that are involved. Once the design is settled upon, then it will be built here at our facility in Fredericksburg, Virginia, where they are factory assembled by our team and technicians. So we assembled, completely assembled. So the blower machines will be placed inside. The power distribution will be ran. So there'll be breakers and power going to each machine. There will be ventilation installed and whatever else that we need. So all this will be installed, and it'll be factory tested before it is delivered to the site. So everything will be complete when it arrives on site. All your mechanical, electrical, ventilation, everything will be done to the most recent forms of the NEC and UL standards. And whenever it arrives on site, again, it'll be tested, set in place, power can be connected, piping can be routed, and the system is ready for operation. So again, what's inside? I mentioned the blowers. Of course, Kaeser compressors. We make a range of different designs and types of blowers. It can be a fixed speed machine, or it can be a variable speed machine. For different technology. Of course, we offer our rotary lobe package, which has been around for many years. On the high efficiency side, we have both a rotary screw and a high-speed turbo option. All these machines that we utilize for these systems are fully integrated blowers, which have the onboard controllers as well as a full sensor suite. This ensures the machine is fully protected and operational and monitored for maintenance as well as its health and well-being. There are fully documented electrical cabinets on these machines to UL 508A, and they have a 50 kA SCCR, which is your short circuit current rating. If desired, we can install our master controller on it that we call a Sigma Air Manager. And if whether you go with our master controller or if you just want to be able to communicate to each machine for running, control, and monitoring, we have the optional AnyBus system. Here I've listed the two most prominent ones that we see here in the United States, which is the Modbus TCP and the Ethernet IP, but there are others available if you're using a different protocol than that. So here's an example of what one of these systems may look like. This was a job in a rural part of the United States where it's not so easy to get your different trades out there to build a wastewater plant. So much of this plant was heavily designed on the forefront and implemented to be as modular or prefab as possible for this site, which included the blower rooms. Here we had two systems which were delivered, one which was focused on your aeration and the other one was a different part of the process. Here was the bigger of the two. You can see we have the box which arrived as you see it was set in place, and in the foreground, that shaded area, we can see where we had the power which was run to the system, as well as all the different various communications they required for the site. There are 5 machines in here. You can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ventilation fans. 2 of them are running, which would indicate that those machines are operational, and you have access to the machines both internally as well as those doors in the front from the outside. Here we can see the backside of that bigger system, and in the background, the foreground is a smaller one which has the 3 machines in it, and of course you can see all the piping. So those units were delivered, set in place, power is run to them, then the piping contractor came out and routed the piping. Of course, 3D files were supplied, so all this could be laid out ahead of time. Yeah, so this is one example of the system, and here we have a view of the inside. Okay, so here we have an example of what the inside of these systems look like. This is a we call a ThinkLink, which you can find online as well. Just type Kaeser ThinkLink blower, and here you're able to grab and move around what it looked like on the inside of one of these enclosure systems. Obviously, we can see the blower packages which are installed inside. We have the various ventilation fans as well as the intake louvers. And behind the machines up top, you can see the conduit, which is routing all the power from the power distribution center in the back of the room, as well as lighting. You can see that you can walk around and access them. And of course, the ThinkLinks have a variety of little things which you can click on to navigate around and find out exactly what we are looking at and what the purpose of those might be. Again, these things can be built by project requirements to make sure that everything is included in the enclosure system that you will need for the job site. So and what you might have here is just another one, much of the same. You can see the noise attenuation material, but they all kind of look very similar on the inside, but you get a sense of that everything which would be required for your station is included inside of the enclosure system. So I think that gets us through these 2 slides. And was another one here. This was a sugar beet site. This is more of a lagoon installation. Again, you can see the power panel in front of us, and I might have mentioned this before, but in the front you can see we saw from the thing link how, yes, you can move around, maneuver inside these things and gain access to your typical maintenance requirements, filter changes, oil changes, motor greasing, things like this. But if you have to do any real heavy lifting to remove any of the heavier components, that there is access from the outside of these systems where the doors can be broken open and you can gain access with something which can be used to lift and remove any of the heavier components. So this also needs to be planned out ahead of time before we start building and implementing such a system. Okay, and again, here's what the inside of that looks like. So just to kind of wrap this up a little bit. So what are we offering with these systems? Well, as we saw there, they are weatherproof. And they're built they offer better reliability than just sticking a machine, particularly one of these machines which has a lot of different electronics, VFDs, computers, and sensors, and all these things. They can be put outside, but depending upon your environment, that may not be the better option. But putting them inside here gives you better reliability and protection of the machines. Again, they are built and designed by our team here at our facility to meet your individual needs. On the smaller machines, we can do interconnecting piping, but the examples we saw here were rather larger systems with bigger piping, so better to have that done on site. Everything's wired to your electric codes, NEC, so ideal for these different situations that we saw, and there's different examples. We have ventilation in there. We have making sure that all the necessary requirements are there for keeping the machines at the temperatures that they need to run to be efficient and effective. And of course, helps keep them away from whatever might be in the environment around there, and helps with the noise with the additional layer of noise attenuation from inside of the box. So we offer this as a single source supplier, delivered and ready for connecting. This helps you limit what's necessary with your on-site. These are not buildings, so more than likely you won't need permits. Cuts down the number of contractors and preparation that's required for the blower station. Everything is fully documented. We have wiring diagrams, drawings, all your communication. All this can be done up front, already ahead of time. We say no bid day surprises once we work out what this design is. It's pretty fixed on what the pricing is going to be. This helps for your project budgeting. Also lowers the project management demands. You're getting it all from a single source. And again, as I mentioned multiple times, it'll be designed for your individual project needs. So I'd like to thank everybody for your time and consideration of our engineered enclosure systems. I hope maybe you learned something today, maybe sparked some interest, and if so, we'd love to hear from you.
Wow, Stephen, that was a lot of benefits there. And
Yes.
it probably could have gone on with another page too of all the benefits, because it's just it's tough to condense it down to just those bullet points. Impressive presentation. So nice job, Stephen. Thank you. And for all of you out there, for more information, please feel free to visit them at us.kaeser.com, or of course on their platform on Water Online. Stephen, thank you very much for the presentation. Much appreciated. Love having you back. Can't wait to have you back again.
Okay, well, you can't wait either, and thanks as always, Travis.